Okay, hi everyone, and today I'm gonna stream some puzzles. I would do leagues, but I don't see any torrents available. I'll check. Any like 3-0. Oh, here's a 3-0 arena actually. Yeah, I wanted 3-0 arenas because those I think are the best for getting trophies for leagues. Leagues are a new chess.com feature, and also there's a contest going for who does the best basically. But basically, you get trophies for winning and drawing games. So in Bullet, it's I think like 3 for a win and 1 for a draw. In Blitz, it's 9 for a win and 3 for a draw. And the minimum time control is 1-0, so 30-second games won't get you any trophies. Also, I think variants, except for 960, won't get you any trophies. But the point is that basically in a 3-0 game, you can say it's 1 minute times 3, but since I can move faster, then it's better for trophies. You can get them faster. And since in arenas I'm probably going to be playing way down a lot, then it's better. I think 3-0 is probably the optimal. For rapid games, it's I think 15 trophies for a win and probably 5 for a draw. I would assume it's the same 3-to-1 ratio. So obviously rapid isn't really going to get it for you because you don't even get double the trophies, and you have to play at least 10 minutes for rapid. So maybe I'll change the title here and instead of puzzles, well, I might do puzzles later, but okay, yeah. So streaming leagues 12/30/21. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll go into this arena. The server restarts in 1 minute. Okay, so actually I'll do puzzles then for now. So puzzles, and my rating on here is like 30. It's definitely over 3,000. It's probably like 3,200 plus. So there's a puzzle event coming up that I might be able to play in, and so that's going to be a speed run with puzzles. But I don't know if we'll see if I can do an application and get that accepted. But I can do some puzzles on here. Just regular puzzles rated. Okay, 3276 is my rating. Okay, so I guess let's make this full screen. Yes, yeah. Like focus mode the way there is in play. But okay, I guess the options here will be c7, b4, queen e7, queen d4, and I guess king a4. There is still a check actually. So okay, so basically we have some options. The rear checks one's a pawn push. However, black's threatening knight c4, so if we played c7, which isn't a check, we probably lose. So if b4, so black could go here or here. If we go to b5, I guess there's c7, we probably win. If they go to c4, then knight b1 is a threat, so we probably want to make a check, not c7. So we can either check here or check here. If we check here, black could take here, then could check there, and black goes to c2. Could check there, Black can go to d3 and we run out of checks, and knight c4 is a threat, knight b1 is a threat. So probably not take on f7, but we could go to d4 for check. And king b5 is forced. Queen d5 is a check. Queen e5 is also a check. c4 is a check, but that will be bad because knight c4 is in the position. So we go to d5, king to a6. And we could go b5. And there's probably not a whole lot else. And again, there's c7, but knight b1 is a threat. So we go b5. And after king a5, we'll run out of checks. And we should be losing because the knight b1 is a threat. So it's probably not b4. I mean, okay, there was a queen e5 check that I didn't consider, but losing the c6 pawn is probably not ideal. So what else? If b4 is not it, we probably don't want to do something like this and lose the pawn, or this and lose the pawn. Which means what could it be? I mean, b4, king c4, queen there, king back, and c4 is bad. Not c4 here, and the knight just takes. I mean, it could be king a4, b5, king a5, knight c4, king a6, and king's not an immediate danger. Black will probably either play b4 or take the pawn to avoid b4 checkmate. And I guess the threat of king a4 is b4 and queen d4 checkmate. So king a4, b5, king a5, knight c4, king a6. Let's say queen takes b2. Then raises the queen, sort of threatening to check on the a file, but we do have king b7 there. Should escape checks. Could even go king b7 immediately. Then there's queen d2. Could also go c7. So king a4, knight c4. I mean, king a4, b5, king a5, knight c4, king a6, queen b2, c7. I mean, there's knight d6 there. Actually, queen a3 and knight d6 is a bit of a threat, and then rook h8 coming. So king a4, b5, king a5, knight c4, king a6, queen b2. And try to find something else. And king b7 immediately, there's still knight d6, then king c7, queen h2. And I guess there's also queen f5 in this, even in the starting position. But that loses the c6 pawn. Could also go b4, king c4, king a4. And I do think I've seen this position before. But after b4, king c4, king a4, there is king c3. But then c7. Then rook h8. And it's probably not great. And there's also c7, knight c4, king a4. No, but there's queen c2 and checkmate. So I guess there's b4, king c4, queen d4, queen d4, king there, queen d5, king a6, king a4. We probably want to insert king a4 with some nice moment. Which threatens b5, king a7, queen d7, and queen b7 checkmate. That could be it. But he can defend against queen d7 with a move like queen h3 or queen g4. And we have c7, queen c8. b4, king c4, queen d4, king b5. I mean, c4, knight c4 is check. Queen d5, king a6, king a4, king a6, king a4, queen g4, let's say. Queen d8, there's b5, check. Oh, there's queen f7, not just queen d7. So, b4, king c4, queen d4, king b5, queen d5, king a6, king a4. If they go like queen g4 to stop queen d7 after b5, king a7, we can still go queen f7 for checkmating on b7. So I imagine that might be the answer. So I guess I'll play it. Yeah, so b5 check is a threat from black there. Alright, so we got it. So I guess I had gotten 3 in a row previously. One of the very last done puzzles. That's a good one. Rating 3186. How long did that take me? Only 806. That's pretty good. I might have seen this puzzle before, but you're only 15.5% pass rate. Okay, so do another one. Yeah, so maybe like 425 or 430. Maybe I can try to join the arena for the league. The server should be fine by then. Okay, so queen e7 is a move here, knight f6 is a check, that's a capture. Queen f8 is a check, but after rook takes, we probably don't have anything. Don't forget the castle's in the position. Okay, so I guess queen e7 is probably the most logical move of the ones I mentioned, knight f6 also being logical. Black doesn't actually have a check being threatened, so technically that's also possible. So we'll start, I guess, with... I mean, I was saying queen e7 is most logical. Let's just start with queen e7. So queen e7, checking here doesn't really make much sense because we're threatening mate there. Queen e7, I guess he can defend with queen g6. So queen e7, queen g6. So then there's hg as a possibility. Knight e5, then there's queen g3. And there's also rook h5, and after queen e7, queen g6, there's rook h5, threatening rook g5. But then he is threatening rook e8 or queen f7 or something. So I guess hg after queen f7 there'll be knight h6 check, or knight f6, king g7, rook h7. But in any case, so queen there hg. So queen g7, there's knight f6 and rook h7. If rook e8, I can go knight f6 anyway. So he could go rook f5 to stop knight f6, but now I have knight h6. So queen e7, queen g6, hg. With the threats of knight f6 and knight h6 on the board, that probably should be winning for white. Even if the black plays a move like h5, I still have knight f6 and I'm covering both of those squares. So he doesn't have a good check on me. So how else can he defend after queen e7? There is rook g5. After queen g5, he still doesn't have a check, and I want a rook. And I can still castle, presumably. I mean, I should be able to reach this position legally while retaining the right to castle kingside and queenside. But obviously, queenside castling isn't possible here. So what can black do? I mean, they could maybe make a useless check. but I can just take and they shouldn't have anything. So what can they do? Because, I mean, queen e7, queen g6, hg, you would think that it's too simple for the solution to a highly rated puzzle, but it could be. I guess we can consider other moves and try to eliminate them. So like hg, for example. If hg, then... And for one thing, okay, yeah, so we can't stop queen e7 with rook e8 because then I have knight f6. They could go queen g6. So hg, queen g6. No, now I go queen e7 again. Same position. Could go rook g5 though and try to go rook g7. I do have knight f6. King f7 then. So hg, rook g5, knight f6. Hg, rook g5, knight f6, king f7. Rook h7, rook g7. This is the line. I mean, not king g7. King f7. I mean, I don't know why this is bad though. But it could be that there's something I'm missing. I guess there's also GH, because H7 is guarded by the queen. But I still have rook H6. So like queen E7, GH6, knight F6, king H8, rook H6. Again, the black doesn't really have a check. And in rook H5 I can just take it. Again, what's the reputation? Knight F6, king there, rook H6. I'm gonna try it. Okay. Ooh, rook a2, interesting move. Idea being if I take on a2, there's queen b1 check, and king goes to the second rank, and rook comes to c2, queen c2, and it's not looking so great. So, knight f6, queen f6, rook a1, king d2, rook h1. Black's gotten quite a bit of material for that queen. Go knight h6, queen h6, rook h6, save my rook. Rook a1, king d2. It's like knight h6, queen takes. Don't know why the arrow won't draw, but oh, it probably did draw. It just doesn't show. But takes king d2. And black still got quite a bit of material though. Rook g1's an idea. And if rook f6 is an idea, rook g2, gotta go d3. Some sort of escaping there. You could also castle here. Which feels like it could be cleaner if it works. But then they do have queen g7. But I am taking a rook on a2 then. The castle is rook a1. Knight f6, queen f6. So like castles, rook a1, knight f6, queen takes, queen takes. With the rooks off, that might actually be less threatening to black. I don't know. On the other hand, black can't really do much. So that might still be a technical win. Well, they don't have to take rooks off either. Like they don't have to trade on f1. They could also just move the rook back or something. And I have queen d7. Oh, no, my queen's on f6. So there's knight h6, there's castles. Could I move this rook somewhere to d1? If rook d1, so just considering rook d1, I still have these two threats. It does time me for rated puzzles, by the way, so I shouldn't go too slowly, I guess. If I go rook d1, how is he going to get me? Because he still doesn't have a good check. The only check is on e4, and I just take it with the queen. And rook d1 is probably the move maybe I should consider first, just to move the rook away from his thing. Yeah. Well, there is bishop a6. No, but the rook can't reach e2 yet. So just rook d1. I should be winning, maybe. And rook d1, rook can't reach e2 yet. If rook b2, I'm just going knight f6 and get his queen. Bishop a6 there, I even have queen e5. And rook d1, rook b2, knight f6, queen takes, bishop a6. Rook's tied down to defending the f8 square, by the way. I have this at minimum to defend the e2 square. Then I just have rook coming to c2. It'd be weird if black could actually see it that way. Rook d1, rook b2. I mean, rook e2 isn't even like a threat. I can go king f1. I mean, if they want to go there, I can still give the rook on d1 there. So rook d1, rook b2, knight f6, queen takes, bishop a6. I mean, queen e5, rook c2. It's the same one I was just talking about. Like queen b8. Okay. Drawing arrows. Queen b8 takes. Queen e5. I mean, if he doesn't want to let my rook into the attack. So he goes back to g8. I can give a check here. King f8. Yes, there's also king h8, but I can still go check, king g8, check, king g7, check, and probably getting the rook in somehow. So if after check on e5 we went to g6, and give a check here, and there, I would check. You'd think maybe not. Okay, maybe I don't check here. But then where can I check? I can also check here. There's king g5. I just have to repeat with it. Check here again, back to g6. The bishop on a6 prevents me from castling. I guess I could just move the rook away too. And just try to escape with my king. So like, let's say rook d1, rook b2, knight f6, queen takes, bishop a6, like rook h4. And after rook e2, just king f1. And even if he goes for the rook with rook d2, I just go to g1, takes, I go to h2. Rook's still tied down to defending the f8 square. Threatening rook takes f4 and queen f8 checkmate. So that could just be it, so. Okay, good, so I get that. And I guess we can just check the analysis. I'll exit full screen. Let's check the analysis, see what would have happened there after rook b2. There's knight h6, okay, that's maybe simpler. Rook h6, okay, let's just see if this line that I was calculating is good. Oh, you could just move this rook also to give the d1 square for the king. So apparently this is no good, I guess. Takes g2. And so this h2 square is no longer safe because this rook can come in and second rank is open, so yeah. Okay, so I didn't actually calculate correctly because I didn't account for rook g2. I guess I looked at this, check king g1, rook d1, king h2, evaluate this as being good with this being a threat and checkmate. There was rook g2. So here, simple move like this, and then now I have the square for the king. Yeah, okay. So I don't really know why that puzzle is rated above 3200, because I think the moves were pretty simple to find. So I don't really get this. I think the queen e7 is pretty simple. HG is just a capture and opens up these two squares, and rook d1 just moves the rook away. So I don't really think that those moves are that hard to find, but apparently a lot of people do because the pass rate is only 3.4% with over 1,000 attempts. So that means that like for every 1,000 people, only 34 people got it right. So like probably only like 34, 35 people have gotten this thing right. Like 35 or so people. Like for the extra 17, like 1 out of 17 or something. 34 or 35 people have gotten this thing right. Out of over 1,000. But I think that the moves are not that hard. I mean, there's just a mate threat on g7. And then I take the pawn, threaten these, and then just move the rook away. But maybe people are looking at like fancier ideas with like knight f6 on move 1 or something. Takes g7 on move 1 or something is something different. Or, I get that there could be other candidate moves that you could be considering. Or even on this last move, maybe you think, oh, I'm going to be good in castle, and this is a very clean way to win or something. But you need, then after rook a1, then you can't just recapture because then queen g7 will come, so you have to go knight f6 immediately, and then you don't keep both. Black gets a rook that way. I mean, there are various ways I guess you could go wrong here with candidate moves. Still took me quite a while to solve it, but I don't think any of the moves I played were all that hard to find, I guess. But okay. Maybe one more puzzle and then league. So king h2, knight g4 is actually not checking like I thought because there's a queen pinning the knight. So king h2 is actually a possibility, as is king h4 because this is also defended. Queen g2 is probably not the move because after they take there, probably don't really have much of an advantage. This a pawn's probably not the least dangerous pawn, but maybe you could keep it at bay and maybe try to win the endgame, but probably not the solution. So king h2 or king h4 is the question. So king h4, I guess they could go queen d1, which hits both the pawn and threatens 2 checkmates. So there's a decent chance that it's not king h4. And we wouldn't have a good check there either. So it probably has to be king h2, which is wrong. Okay, should actually calculate the whole thing first. There's some trick here, I guess. Oh, we can check. Okay, well, I'm not going to end on a note with that. King h4 is probably better than king h2 because you're just bringing the king into the game and you just help out with, like, attacking the king or whatever. Just coordinating the pieces better, maybe. Yeah. Okay, I should have seen queen f6 and d8 queen. But a lot of people might miss it, so. Yeah, I mean, the puzzle's pretty highly rated, I imagine. I don't think I actually looked at the rating, but getting that wrong's not good, but whatever. Okay. So I could take here, I could take the queen. I don't think taking the queen is the answer. Just there's also rook d5. This knight's pinned, so we can't go knight d4. Knight's pinned. We'll also take this pawn. It allows a queen trade. Okay, so I guess probably these are the two main candidates. I mean, maybe also bishop d5, but that doesn't have necessarily a concrete threat. I guess this is also a check, so it might deserve some consideration. Maybe king h1. If king went to the second rank, then rook b2 would be another check. Maybe king h3 there. But queen c5, king h1. There's rook b2. It's rook e5. Pawn takes. Try to keep the knight defended. Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot of threats there either. So, okay, so maybe rook d5 we can consider. So rook d5, let's say queen e2, queen g3, queen g2. Might not be great. I guess I could take h4, but this is hanging. After queen e2, I mean, okay, maybe you could move the king to try to make this knight more useful, but I mean, rook ad1 coming, bishop can just take the knight. So probably not rook d5. So let's look at rook e1, queen takes. You can move the queen, but it's going to be that always. So the answer here is not clear. The rook b2 will probably just be blunder because they take and take. So it might be this and king h1, and then we have to find something. Maybe rook b2, rook e5, pawn takes. Now there's not a concrete threat. I mean, this pawn might be dangerous or something. And maybe, threats coming against the king or something. So it might be queen c5. And I guess queen c5, king h1 could throw this in and then take. There's not an immediate reason why that might. It's not a very clear reason why that might be advantageous. Bishop e3, you have to go queen d5, rook d1. I guess you can take this with the queen not guarding it anymore. Queen c5, king h1, maybe rook e1, queen e1, rook b2. There's also queen e4. So maybe just queen c5, king h1, rook b2. I don't know if queen c5 is the right first move, but what else could it be? It could theoretically be something quiet like bishop e5, maybe bishop d5, maybe bishop f4 there also. Yeah, I mean, with this going, there's really, the queen, I mean, first of all, we're being attacked because there's a queen trade threat and then take on c6. And also, you don't really have a whole lot to play with because this knight's, there's some problems here with the knight. So, there's not like infinite time to, I mean, unless we move the queen away. But also like the value in a waiting move, they can just take the knight anyway. Like moving the king to extricate the knight may not really get us much. I mean, they can take the knight anyway, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but maybe. But I mean, queen c5 is, queen c5, king h1, rook b2. I mean, I feel like we're preserving some chances to attack. And, I mean, let's say rook e5, f takes, maybe bishop g5. Threatening checkmate on d8, but I have bishop d5. And queen f2 is coming. So maybe they go rook b1 instead of bishop g5. In which case, I mean, I could even play rook a2 or something, but then there's rook b8. So like queen c5, king h1, rook b2, rook e5, pawn takes, rook b1. You could always take, and maybe play bishop d5 or something. Queen b8, king d7. Maybe instead of queen b8, maybe queen d1. Queen f2, d5 hangs. But I mean, what else is there besides queen c5? Because rook d5, I think, queen e2, and if that was the move that I was saying, and b2 is defended. I mean, you have this square, but then your knight's hanging. Queen c5, there's bishop e3. I don't like bishop e3 being a response, so I guess it's a reason. I mean, I guess even here there's bishop e3, because if rook takes, I can insert this in between, but I do have king e7, I'm threatening the bishop still, so that's probably good for black. Queen c5, king h1, rook b2. I mean, maybe it's not rook b2. Maybe it's like bishop d5 or something. Takes. This isn't all that convincing, though. I guess maybe king e7. Start trying for knight d4, but there's bishop e3. And queen c5, king h1. Maybe then rook d5. There is technically bishop e3 still. There's also queen e2. This queen. I mean, could you give up a knight? Like queen f2. Probably not worth to give up a knight. You're threatening this and this, but that one's a bishop and a pawn. You already gave up a knight. I guess you're also threatening rook b2 there, but probably not giving him a knight for some threats like that. I mean, maybe, but you can always defend b2 with rook b1. I mean, bishop d5, rook takes, pawn takes, are threatening this, but not threatening that because there's a pawn in the way. So he can move like back here, and then what? In e4, there's f4. Could just move the king away, but d4 is covered by the bishop on e3. Could go bishop d5 takes, then queen e1 trades queens, which might not be desirable. Though. I guess endgames could be decent with the c pawn, but those squares are under some control by the bishops. Takes queen d4, bishop e3. And I'm going to say it's this, but it's not. The reading was only 29.76. I mean, was it those takes and what takes? I guess because we are threatening this checkmate. That was just it. Okay. Yeah, you can be streaky in puzzles too, not just in blitz games. Like I can be streaky in puzzles too. Bishop d5 against bishop c5. d4 and queen d5. And I mean, this knight and this bishop are under attack. d5, queen d1, and the knight gets to move. So what else is there? There's takes, bishop takes, d4. Takes, bishop c5, there's d4. Takes is also bishop e7, queen is defending the knight. Take f6, though. Check. There's also check. I mean, takes d4. Really, I guess he could take f takes, but then it takes bishop c5, d4. Again. So I'm not seeing why fe5 is wrong. This is a high-rated puzzle. I've gotten 2 wrong already. I mean, we've gotten 2 wrong so far, so maybe we should take some time, but there's queen h5 here, g6. I guess on the previous one, not finding something conclusive, I should have thought longer. Queen c5 didn't feel all that... Well, I wasn't getting somewhere conclusive with it, I guess. It was more that I didn't see anything better, but since I didn't really see anything like an answer, I should have been thinking longer. But anyway, it is what it is. I got it wrong. So queen h5 is g6. So I'm going to take... yeah, if bishop d4, there's queen d4, and there's a pin, so you can't take legally. So I still only got a 70% for speed bonus, even though I solved it in just over 2 minutes, like under just 2:13, but still, I guess the average time is, the target time was only 16 seconds. Oh, problem ring was only 27:20, yeah. Okay. It's still I gained 5 points. That puts me lower than where I started, so let's continue. Okay, so there's g7, there's also knight f6, which stops the rook back. So if I go knight f6, how is he actually getting back? I guess he goes this way. Alright, could try to do something with the pawn, but I guess technically that could work. Like knight f6, knight c8, knight d5. Very forcing line. He also has c4 though. g7, knight e7, d6, c3, d7, c2, queen, queen. He check there and take that pawn. If I queen to there, he checks there. I'll assume he can win that pawn. So I guess knight d5 takes. And I could go g7 immediately and take c4, d6, c3, d7, c2. There's also a block on g1 of g8, queen, c1, queen. He still has a check on h6 or something. So I don't know. Let's look for some other lines. If we go g7, then he has a choice knight. Those two knight moves. And b5 is threatening to eliminate this last pawn. I assume that puzzle answer is probably not to bring the king all the way up to like stop the knight, though technically it could be, but it would be a bit long or a bit planny for a puzzle, but I guess it could be. Could be, just a plan like that. Now I guess there's the logic of like see where his knight goes, like c8 or d7, and then you have a refutation based on where he goes, like see where he goes first. Could be something with the king position maybe. Like trying to go a knight check. Okay, let's say knight f6, knight c8, g7, knight e7. I mean, knight d5 would be nice, but he's got this pawn coming. What else is there besides to allow a queen endgame? Like hope that it's winning. I guess I could move the king up, like to try to be able to stop that pawn being the square of the pawn. But that does give him time with the king. Like to stop this pawn. But let's try, like, just try the forcing line and then a non-forcing move. So if he goes b5, I can go knight d5. And his b pawn's coming that way too. No, but then I make two queens, like, just to show, like, g7, a7, king g2, b5, knight d5. Knight g8 is also possible, by the way. But I guess then I can try to take this pawn. King a5, king b4. Yeah, I could take that way also. Maybe that would be winning endgame. But like maybe I can do knight d5 first. Takes g7. But like the idea is like here, like king g2, a7, g7, b5, knight d5. Like if he was to take, let's say, and then pawn takes, b4, d6. Like I'm outside the square of that pawn, but now when he queens, it's not with check, so I can make both queens. It's like knight f6, knight c8, g7, knight e7, king g2, b5, knight d5. So He doesn't want to take and give me another passed pawn. Actually, he could. Like d6, knight g8, d7, king c7. Like, just after cd5, just go king b6. Is that because I gave him... Like, because I didn't think they bring the king back last time, right? But that was just because I was being sloppy with calculation, didn't calculate knight g8, d7, king c7. Okay, so that whole thing doesn't really work. So good thing I didn't do it, I guess, even though I spent quite a bit of time thinking about it. Knight h6, if knight d7, there's knight g4. It's hard to stop g7, g8. So knight h6, he has to go knight c8. But yeah, he's getting to e7. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a trick here that's going to take some time to find. And what is it? 97, 97, g7, knight f6. Knight d5 trick doesn't work, as we discussed. Especially now with the knight on f6, I don't even gain a tempo with d6. So, what is the trick here? Like, there is a trick, like, it's something like, I mean, I maybe even seen this puzzle before, maybe. But, like, maybe some trick with, like, you check with you fork the king and the knight, so the knight is distracted from the pawn, and then you queen. But, like, you have to get your knight somewhere where that's actually going to happen. Go there. There might be some combination of that, and maybe it's a winning endgame if we can stop, if we can, like, win a pawn on b5 or something. So I guess this is a route to getting to win a pawn on b5. Might be a winning endgame if we can get that. So let's say, like, g7, 97, 98. So now I'm hitting the c7 square. So let's say king a5, go knight d6 to hold both of those. I mean, maybe we do need to just, be bringing the king up or something. And it's going to be a long calculation. We have to do it. How much? It's only 9% battery. We'll have to better charge. Now e7 does stop knight c8, so it forces this one. So they can try to get back to f6. g7, knight f6. Say king g2, b5. Takes, king f3. c4, king f4, c3, King e5, c2, and queen's in time. 97, 97, g7, knight f6, king g2, b5, knight d5 trick doesn't work. Or knight f6, knight c8, g7, knight e7, knight e4, I guess is a possibility, so knight e4. So if b5, I mean c5 is being threatened, but if you take it, you can still go there and check. Unfortunately, the knight's on e7, not on f6, otherwise you would be forking the king and the knight. Knight f6 there. a4, b5, knight c5, king b6, knight d7, king c7. Not really making it. I assume it is a to-win puzzle. Probably it's not too hard to make a draw. Maybe not that trivial if you wanted it, but might not be all that hard. King g2 on move 1. I mean, knight d7. Knight h6, knight f6. Yeah, well, let's start with the more forcing way. g7, knight f6. King g2, b5, takes, f3, c4, takes, queen, queen, they take h6. But that doesn't, it's not the same as it's here. Then I take, you have 3, c4, king 4, takes, queen, queen. He's still queening in time. So not easy. And there's such a limited set of possibilities that when we can't find something simple, there's also not that much deeper we can go, it seems. So that also makes these problems harder in a way, even though they should be easier because there are less possibilities. I mean, less possibilities should make it easier. Yet, because it's not obvious, it can actually be harder to find something because you have to find something when there's not even that much you can look through to find it. You can't find it. It's like, where is this thing? And we don't know. Well, we have to figure it out. It's like it should be staring at me, I guess, but it's not. Well, it shouldn't be because it's a highly rated puzzle. And games can still have tricks in them. Knight f6, knight c8, g7, knight e7, knight e8, stopping b5 for the moment, king a5, knight d6. Say king b6, G2, king c6. I mean, probably not going to cut it. Knight f6, knight c8, knight e8 first. And still go knight e7, attacking the pawn, so we push g7 against transposition. At least I've gotten more than 50% of the puzzles right so far, but that could easily change here. Since I'm not seeing this one. Oh, I guess there's also an idea to play 94, I guess. 97 though. Attacks g7. Attacks g6 and then b5. Maybe we should start with moving the king up. I can't take because, well, actually there we could take and come back. So maybe we'll do it like this. Move g7 and can't make it back in time. Anywhere he goes, there's that and that, so we'll go to f6 to stop that check. Yeah, so king h2, say knight d7 for example. Trying to, I mean, see, both of these squares are actually covered at the start, so in theory we could also play g7 and force him to the side and then move the king up. I can also move the king up. Move a knight somewhere like that because, I mean, he can also move the king up, but it seems like moving the knight might be more useful, so then move the king up. b5, takes, get rid of that arrow. King f4, c4. Now, my king is also in time for that. But if I do that, then I can't attack the knight. So let's calculate again. Just restart. King h2, knight d7, king g3. Ignore that arrow. b5. Take, king f4, c4. So I can play g7, c3. And the knight moves to c2, so go back, but he comes up. Knight moves. Yeah, still not winning. Yeah. Knight d7. G7 forces a knight move. That's where it's covered, so we do have some control over when his knight gets to come back to defend. It might not matter though. G3 is c4, king f4 is c3, and those pawns coming. I don't know this one. Definitely taking a long time on it. But I want to get it right. Not an easy one. 98, K5, or I considered this line before, and I guess these lines of moving the knight away are probably the same as pushing the pawn up, and there's only one solution, so if we can transpose them, that can mean neither of them is the solution. Probably no more transpositions available because doing the same ideas with different move orders, and like one of them is right for some unknown reason. This pawn is very useful covering those two squares. It's also annoying. What to do? Try something like that. I don't know. I mean, you can't cover that square. So I guess maybe we want to force the knight to come back that way. Because this square is easier to attack, maybe. So like 97, 97, G7, knight f6. This one is easier to attack. But with knight on e7, it's also not the best square. Start advancing the king. Been done this before. He gets a queen in time. We don't have to take here, but it doesn't actually cost any tempi because it's a check. I mean, it shouldn't cost tempi. I imagine there might be this. But where's the follow-up? Has to be a king move. B5. Could also just move the king up. Takes. King f4, c3, king e5, c2. Takes, queens, queens, and we don't have any pawns left. But this might be a better square to get that knight on, so try to continue with this line of thought, but it might be flawed. Let's say knight c8. So knight c8. Because with b5 now I can take. He doesn't have to take, by the way. He could go king a5. But I get knight d6 there anyway. And just the point is like maybe I'm covering the square. And if I've seen this before, that might actually be something I've seen. Something like this. So then I guess I can put the knight there, but then I can go back. King b6. I've done that kind of position before, haven't we? Knight d6, king b6, king g2, king c6. Still not obvious what the idea or whatever. Just trying to occupy that square before White's able to get to it. This is definitely more counterintuitive in a way because the knight seems less useful there. So that could help the case for this move being the answer. You can't use that kind of logic in a real game, so I mean, yeah, it's a way to try to solve, but it's not helpful in a chess sense. So 97, 97. And spending almost half an hour. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to get this right. Just spending so much time on it. You don't get credit for spending extra time as far as I know. I mean, it will give you some extra effort points. Otherwise, it'll be your advantage just sit there if you're not sure. I guess. Well, I guess if you're not sure, you should sit here. You don't lose points anymore if you spend too long. It seems like you can gain at least 5 as long as you get it right. Which is nice, but then you can lose also. Something like this. Like 94. So if b5 there I can take, and if he takes I can go knight d6. Which forks the king and the knight, so I can go g7. So knight f6. So b5, I mean, he could still do it and play king b6, but after g7, knight e7, knight d6, I'm also threatening to fork the king and the knight there on c8, so you have to go king c7. After knight c4, I mean, maybe it's a winning endgame. It might not be, but it might be. It's probably decent given what I've been getting in other variations, maybe. So knight e4, but he could go knight e7, which hits this pawn. Now I could take this, he attacks the knight with king b6, knight d7, king c7. And yes, his knight is on e7 here, he's attacking the pawn. Could go knight e5, defend the pawn, but he goes king d6. Knight f7, I guess I've saved both of them, but at that point he's getting to this pawn. Yeah. So that's to say that maybe you can try to do this, and after g7, you can play b5 or something. Like these tricks to try to like stop his knight from going somewhere, but they don't seem to work so well. This knight e7, yeah, it's that pawn, which is also maybe an annoyance. Knight f6 doesn't actually hit that pawn, so it doesn't like force us to play g7 there if we haven't played it already. Knight f6, knight c8. There is knight d7, knight e7. Yeah, it's very difficult, as these puzzles are supposed to be. I do want to get it right, so I'm going to spend my time. e7, knight d7. It's always, I could insert that. Knight c8. b5 takes, knight d6, just king b4, just getting up there. I mean, there isn't really a great guess here either. Like, yeah, maybe this is more counterintuitive, that's just very, yeah, there's not really like a great guess. Like, a lot of these moves could be right. Even like g7, but g7 is maybe less likely because it gives him this choice. Maybe we want to know where he's going, and then we move our knight. g7, knight d7, knight h6, 7, knight d7, knight h6, knight f6, knight g4, knight g8. Yeah, we're not stopping b5. g7, knight d7. Yeah, so it didn't buy us anything to know that he's going to d7 because h6 didn't work. We could bring the king up again, but again he's doing the b5 thing. What do we do here? Well, if I guess, it's going to be wrong. I mean, okay, probability says it could be right, but Murphy's Law says it's going to be wrong if I guess. And this d6 square could be an interesting square. So ideally, I guess we should be trying to get there with the knight one way or another, like this, or like this, but trying to get to this d6 square. It prevents b5. I guess c7 is also a square, so let's look at this line again. 7g7, so king b6 comes, and yeah, he's coming to c6, which attacks the knight on d6, which isn't great to allow, I guess. I don't know how helpful a puzzle like this is for a real game, but it might not be very helpful for a real game. Like, I feel like when I did these kinds of puzzles earlier, my rating was still like staying around the same over the board. I mean, I don't know if this kind of a puzzle really helps you for like regular chess. At least at my level. I've heard that like top grandmasters do studies, but like I'm not a top grandmaster even close to that. I mean, yeah, I'm not even close to that. So this kind of a puzzle might not help my overall chess skills that much, but I'm doing it. It's in front of me. I should try to solve it. '88, 87, G7, King B6. And he's getting to C6 there, so knight on D6 might not be all that helpful. Knight on C7 can't really hold. Knight on D6 doesn't really hold. Look. How do we like stop his knight from coming over? I say I've seen this before. I mean, maybe not. Maybe there's like But like I know I think maybe there's a similar puzzle with also like a pawn, like sort of on G6. But okay, whatever. Obviously, even if I've seen it before, I definitely don't have a great memory of what the solution is. Yeah, I mean, if this pawn wasn't here, I could go like knight f6, knight c8, knight d5, and he wouldn't be able to stop this pawn from promoting. That would be way too easy for a puzzle when my rating is this high. It's not that. Ooh, wait, maybe it's this. Knight d5 immediately. Takes c4, d6, c3. Maybe not like exactly that, but like, does the king coming over work in this case? It looks like it doesn't because I get to d6. I'm covering the e7 square. So if I do this, he still has c4, which is annoying. So it's still an issue. At least I force him to choose a c4 path as opposed to doing something bringing the king over. So maybe I can try to apply that some other way. So let's say I did the king g2 thing, where the king coming back might have been more of the issue. So king g2. Now he has a choice, so he might choose that square instead, so that way I can't block his square with d6. So I can go knight e7. He goes knight f6. Knight d5 takes, and his king comes back easily. I guess even here it doesn't really work. Like knight c8, knight d5, takes. He can go knight e7. But I can go d6 there. So in that particular instance, this the knight e7 move doesn't stop me because I have d6. So he has to choose the path with c4. d6, c3. Wait a second. I have d7. If c2, I can take the knight, and I'm defending the square. So I think that's actually the answer. So knight f6, knight c8, knight d5, pawn takes. And if he goes knight e7, I can go d6, which attacks the knight and threatens to push. Knight g6, I go d7. And I get to the promotion square. So, knight d5 takes. Let's see, he goes king b6. Well, again, I have d6, and now I'm hitting this square. If he takes here, I can just go g7 and I queen. If he goes c4, I go g7 anyway, and he's too far away. c3 and I queen, and he's still not queened yet. He can go c2, but I can defend against that with my new queen. So, knight f6, knight c8, knight d5. If he doesn't take, I can just go g7. The e7 square is under control by the knight on d5. So he pretty much has to take it. I take c4, trying to make his own queen. And now I can go d6. And again, if he takes, I can go g7. So c3. And I use this pawn now. Instead of saying, oh, well, I want to use this pawn because I'm defending the square. No, I actually want to use this pawn now because it's actually an advanced pawn itself. And so, and now, yeah, basically we did, just to recount, where his pawn is d6, c3. I'm going to use my d pawn, If he moves his knight, I make a queen on d8. If he pushes his pawn up, I make the queen on c8, taking his knight and defending the square. I think that's the answer. We'll see it played out now. Okay. Puzzle rating was only 2936. The idea was not super hard to find, but the exact move order was tricky. And specifically using this pawn as a passed pawn on its own right. Like being itself a passed pawn that I can use instead of just using it to cover the square. For this pawn, I can also use the d pawn itself as its own passed pawn, and I can cover the square. Yeah, c2, I take, I make a queen, and cover the square. It's probably a league open now. That's probably enough for puzzles, maybe. I did lose a few rating points. I started at 3276, I think. Now I'm at 3273. I did get 4 out of 6 of them right, though. It's okay. It took a long time. I mean, maybe I'll try to solve one more. Wait, what? I think the fastest checkmate is probably king e7. King e5 would take longer. King f6 would take more moves after king f8. Rook g6, king h7. Rook g6, king h8. King f7, king h7. That's maybe in 4. h8, king f8. It's made in 4. King f6, king f8. King g6. Okay, I made in 3. So I guess it's king f6. King h7, rook e8. King h8, I go king g6. I get mate in 3. That puzzle is rated 3174. So I can mate in 3 instead of mating in 4. Okay. And that pushes my rating up above where I started because I did a king rook checkmate in the minimum number of moves. Excellent. Definitely needed that skill because, yeah. Like, even at a time scramble, like, you would be pre-moving. And so, like, you wouldn't need these exact moves. Like, I guess over the board time scramble, if you could, like, calculate this thing this quickly. So I save a move. But, like, in variation, like, like king f6, king f8. I mean, you're so likely to move the rook, and then, I mean, at least that's what I was thinking, and then move the king back and checkmate on h8. But you make the quiet king move, and king g8, rook e8 mate. But, like, you know, so you're gonna see that in a blitz game? I mean, maybe now I would I solve this puzzle, but I might also just forget this. I mean, king e7, I mean, it's easy to see, I guess, that seems like it might mate faster than king e5. You know, just bringing the king closer. You know, more of a box, but and this puzzle is ridiculous to even be here. This rating range, like, it's theme simple, theme opposition. This does have opposition, but I'm not gonna upvote that necessarily because opposition, in general, the use of it might be in a different sense, maybe like some kind of zugzwang or, you know, a pawn endgame where you actually need it. Like here, you might not really need it that much. I mean, maybe you need it at some point, but I guess at some point it's helpful. But this might not be the first opposition puzzle. I mean, okay, maybe. So, like, There's like comments. Just the download is being like, silly. Now I might get notified that I made a comment, actually, since I followed before I commented. Like, since I followed before I submitted the comment. Why is this a puzzle? Good one. Like, it might be a bug. Like, it might just be that, this might be engine generated. It might be engine generated, and maybe they're not controlling for, like, just really, really basic puzzles like this. Like, this is not, like, gonna teach you. Like, you learn king rook versus king checkmate. You learn that as an endgame skill. You're converting that. You don't do a puzzle. I mean, you could do a puzzle to learn it. But in general, you're going to be trying to learn like patterns and tactics with puzzles and calculation with puzzles. And this is a skill that you learn it as an endgame skill, and it doesn't matter where the king, the rook, or the opposing king are. It doesn't matter where the three pieces are. You know king and rook versus king. You know the technique, you know the ideas. And that's what's important. In this puzzle, you apply those techniques to try to, with your calculation, to try to find the fastest checkmate in a very specific in a specific position. So in that case, you are using your calculation, combining it with your existing skills, which is supposed to be what you do in a puzzle. However, just the look of this doesn't really seem like it's necessarily the most instructive. But I guess it's I mean, I'm glad I got it right, like I put in the comments. So I mean, I guess it's not like it's useless because you do have to calculate, but it's also probably you could probably have a more useful puzzle with more pieces on the board. It's actually like a bit more complicated, especially at this rating level. I mean, 3174 for a puzzle like this. I mean, I get that the people are probably just messing up somewhere along the way, just making a normal move. Not really going through this methodically enough. And then probably getting tilted when they get it wrong, like, oh, there's a one move faster checkmate. And it might seem cheap to them. But yeah, I mean, there are probably like puzzles where you could use your calculation skills in maybe a more meaningful way. And a puzzle that's maybe more instructive than this, where you maybe you see a new pattern. I mean, yeah, maybe now you really know how to do king and rook versus king, but that should be something that you pretty much knew it anyway, especially at this rating level. You pretty much knew it anyway. You could have done this in like one or two moves more, or a few moves more, and you still would have won the game if you had enough. If you had enough time left on the clock, you would have won the game anyway. So using your calculation skills in maybe a more meaningful or maybe more instructive way with a different puzzle that is more complicated than this, or more rich, or more. I mean, yes, there's some nuance here, like particularly to see to move the king here is a nice kind of nuance, because it might be more intuitive to move the rook as a waiting move, but to move the king into a better position to give the checkmate. So that's sort of where you can see nuance. And actually here I guess there's a nice one. Also king f7 and rook h6 mate after king h8. So maybe, I guess you could say that's kind of instructive in this sense to sort of be applying these skills, and you might be learning the skills this way of sort of thinking a little bit outside the box, which is something you have to do here, but it would definitely be more meaningful if you did it in a puzzle where it's actually more necessary to the overall outcome of the game, and it's not just a simple endgame that you already know the technique for it. So it's just a more meaningful way, I guess. I mean, I guess I could edit my comment. I don't need to, I mean. Okay, I guess I can edit it. Okay, so I guess we'll do a little bit of leagues, and then end the stream. So if I can find one. Oh, I'll play some regular Blitz, I guess. Maybe I'll just do a little bit of leagues, okay. Like maybe 5 minutes will do. I won't necessarily play the whole thing, but I'll play some of it. Now let's make this full screen. Okay, let's join. I'm much faster on my iPhone than on the mouse, so better to do 5 minutes than 1 minute since I'm playing with a mouse right now. C5, hit the knight, the rook. Could go knight d5 here. You could take knight c4. Opponent's rating is 1953. Let's play bishop e6 here. Doesn't really do all that much aside of attack e2. Just move the bishop back. This is 5-0, so I guess I have more time to explain things. So I go c5, maybe bishop e6 coming. Take that. So I guess more time for explanations is maybe more conducive to streaming. Let's go a5, threaten a4 with the a2 pawn being hit. Yeah, he's playing this and trying to make a draw, I assume. He goes knight c1 to defend a2. Just have to try to beat him. Take. I'm actually down on time. Let's play f6. c7. Knight f4, bishop f7. He goes f4, so maybe he's weakening some light squares. I don't know. Let's go f5. If he goes e5, I get some squares. So now I get bishop d5. Try to bring a knight to e6. And I can always fortify the f5 pawn with g6 or something, but it's not immediately necessary to do that. Also not immediately necessary to get the knight to e6. But, so this could be a nice square for the bishop. I can always move the bishop somewhere else if necessary. Okay, b4. So he probably wants to play b5 and shut that part of the board down. I do have bishop takes d3 and c takes b4, which you might not have seen. Then king c2, knight c5. I mean, that might end up being a draw on the pawn endgame even. But since I want to win, I might want to spend some time here. This might be an opportunity, because if he gets b5, then it might not be able to... I might still be able to maneuver my knight around and get something, but... I mean, bishop d3, king d3, cb, king c2. If b5, he can just take it. And he's covering the b6 row with his bishop, so go king c6. I mean, no, king c6, king b3, and he gets the pawn. Go knight c5, he can even take, and king b3. And with his protected pass pawn e5, it might still be a draw. Yeah, so alright, I'm gonna try to win the knight versus bishop, I think. If he goes b5 here, which would probably be expected given his style he's been showing so far. Okay, so let's just move around. And try to get his knight to a4 if he wants, I guess. So move the bishop here. This is kind of annoying for him. He can't move his knight now. g4, just g6. Stop him on that side of the board. Objectively, of course, this should be drawn. But I do outrate him by quite a lot, so I'd like to try to win this. g5 looks like a bad move. Let's hit the c4 pawn also. And I can try to bring my knight around. His knight d1 trying to get to a4 is maybe annoying. So maybe I should have played bishop e2 to stop that. Okay, so I'm going to take the... Just try to maneuver around. Hope that at some point I can get him somehow. Get one of his pawns or something. King d3. Well, let's just play a waiting move, see what he wants to do. Before I commit with my knight, now I have to commit. I'm gonna go back. Make another move. Check. And he saw king g3, knight f1. Yeah, I was probably not going to win this. It's disappointing from a rating perspective for sure. Let's go back, I guess. Yeah, he wanted to make a draw, which is very understandable, of course. Yeah, I mean, my knight doesn't even have much. My knight can't even do all that much here. Probably has way too much time for me to be able to flag him. He's always playing that. He offers a draw. Just try to flag him. Please go e6 maybe. And he's not pre-moving either. Please e6. Okay, 2039. Just try to win these games quickly, I guess. But I guess he played decently in that last game, but it might have been very even. B5, maybe we'll go bishop b5. Guess I can go h3. Now let's try this. Load up on the pre-moves. So I have these 3 pawns, and it's not so easy for him to get his pieces going together. Knight e5 is an idea, but I guess I can go b3 and stop knight c4. And other than that, these pieces don't have like a whole lot of great squares to go to. And I do still have the 3 pawns, of course. So I can go f4, e5, we go knight d5. So maybe I can just push my pawn. I have a clear plan, I can just push my pawns. He has to find stuff, but yeah. Guess his rook active. It's not desirable, but okay, let's go g4. Probably should have done something like this on the previous move. I should have probably done something like bishop g5. G4 would have been fine also because, yeah, let's see. Although I can take this, maybe. And let's take this. Go g5. Put his knight on an awkward square. Awkward square. The e8 is probably the best one. Because his knight can come back pretty quickly. Just try to push my pawns up, I guess. Maybe play h4 at some point just so my pawns feel more together. My position is pretty reasonable, I guess, just positionally. Let's go bishop f4. Yes, he can play. Yeah, he can play e5. But he doesn't, so now I can go check. Now I can play king a3, try for b4. Just push these pawns up, and it's easy as black to kind of not find something useful, but he can go knight ac5. After b4, knight a4. So maybe I should go rook d4 after knight a to c5, and maybe try to skewer with some kind of rook c4. Knight b6 is an idea. Let's go. Knight b5 takes knight c7, c4. It's reasonable. And the pawns can start marching up the board. Now, c5 not really going to happen right now. b5 under attack. So king b4. Don't see anything wrong with it necessarily. I mean, it's knight a6, king c3, knight comes to c5. That's not too dangerous. I'm going to play rook a1 there. So let's just go here. Maybe rook a1 coming next. Definitely like my position quite a bit here. His knights are quite clumsy. Maybe not clumsy, but not necessarily great. So I mean, c5 is rook b5 or knight b5. c5 is rook b5, maybe even knight b5. So I can take on c7. He takes, and I can play c5. Because with rook c5 there, I could go rook d7. So bishop c7 and c5. Let's say rook c7 and c5. king c8, there's b6, some f4 stuff coming. There's king c7, c5, knight e5, b6 again. I'm gonna trust that this works. With knight e5, I mean, I could also play f4, but then knight g6 maybe, but no, then b6 should be just winning. So I could go rook a1, b6, leave me up a pawn, probably winning, if he was to take, which I imagine he might. Rook a1 is also quite nice, so I'm going to play this. Yep, okay, so let's give a check. I mean, I probably just should have played b6 immediately. He's threatening knight d3 here. Yeah, king a5 takes king b7. Might be winning to take the rook. Could also play rook a8, which is probably the better way to go. So after knight d3, knight c5, I have rook c8. King d7, I can go king b5. So here maybe. I'll try this. He has rook d7, so it's not simple. I should have probably done rook c8, rook f8. Maybe. It's a great move. I'm probably going to lose this now. I should have just taken that pawn up. I should have just played b4, b6 when I had the chance. Hopefully start to pre-move and get a g6, and it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Try for a stalemate or a flag or something. I'm not going to end with my rating doing this, of course. course. Which means I'm probably going to play a lot more games on this thing. I might lose even more rating points, but whatever. Haven't beaten either of those guys. Just start winning quickly. Maybe I'm talking too much, I don't know, but here, let's go d5 and takes. Take that. And these arena guys are good, by the way. Look. I haven't mentioned them in a previous stream. This queen e7 doesn't do anything. I mentioned in a previous stream that these arena guys are good. Even though I cannot rate them by a lot. Unpin the knight, try for knight h5. Okay, let's keep the bishop hitting h3, try for knight e7, knight g6. g4. Knight g6 and takes. Knight g4 I can go h5. I can also play this first. Maybe play queen g6 or something. He wants g3. I mean, it wouldn't be that good from because of knight h3, but can't like force him to play g3 right now either. I guess we'll go rook d7 and hope for g3. He doesn't even do it. But how is he going to defend his d pawn now? Just won't. He's on g3 or something. I don't know if he had g3 there, but he might have, so. Like, if rook d3, g3. Good that he resigns. Get the trophies. Get the points. Okay, let's just. No, I want to play this opening. I'll put the bishop on d6. Maybe it belongs on e7. Decent chance that it does. I'm going to take this and castle. Get this pawn structure. You can see this in the Caro-Kann quite a bit. I also got double black. I've actually gotten 3 blacks one way, which is weird since I'm higher rated than all my opponents, but I guess that's how it goes. f6 and rook takes. See his queen b3 here. e6 probably not a great move. Let's go queen d5. Queen g4 can go f5, which I probably wanted to do anyway to lift my rook. Let's take the pawn. Okay, that's obviously a reasonable plan. Let's go here, rook e7. Maybe with the rook or something. He wants to bring the rook up to like c5 or something like that. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, go rook g6 and trade. Okay. Doesn't want an endgame. Oh, he was attacking the pawn. Let's go rook f7, maybe queen g6 or something. Maybe rook f6. Let's go rook f6. I guess he has h5, then I have queen f7. So it's that, so that we take on f5 if I go rook g6. Yeah. Okay. It's probably not a bad move. Maybe not the best move, probably not a bad move per se. I can go here. Who's there? I can go g5. And he's rook e7, I'm even considering that. Go queen d1, I guess. Let's try that. Maybe now I give a check and I should win. Okay, I win. Yes, I'm getting lots of trophies, which is good. Maybe I'll get to 500 trophies and then I'll stop. Maybe not, maybe 450 or something lower. These 500 trophies will actually take quite a while. Okay, let's just go bishop f5, e6. This guy wants to play quickly too. Bishop b4. Yeah, too bad the 3-0 arenas aren't every hour, because those are the best for the trophies. I might want to take on c3. Yeah, like before he was to do that. But anyway, let's just castle. Just keep pieces on the board, I guess. I don't know. Should probably take c3 and create an imbalance, but whatever. Okay, b4 doesn't look like a good move. Just breaking the center. Try to win this quickly. Let's go rook e8. Okay, this guy's 2080. He's probably playing worse than some of the other lower rate players, and lower than 2080 that I've faced so far. Which isn't saying that he's bad for 2080 necessarily. It's also like the other people are good for their ratings. Just go rook d8, centralize maybe knight e4 coming. I mean, I think that the stuff going on the queen side is not really a good idea for him. He's probably wasting some tempi there. And also just creating weaknesses. Yeah, 4. It also creates a weakness on e3. But he does have f5, but then I have queen e5, so I'm probably okay there. Bishop c1. I guess he wants to keep that bishop, which is reasonable. So I probably don't want to get my bishop trapped. So what do I want to do? I'll probably go bishop f5, see if he wants to provoke, create more weaknesses with g4. If he does, then we can drop my bishop back to like c8 or something. Knight d4 is, yeah, actually that's a good move. Okay, let's just drop back to c8. Running knight c3, not sure if he sees it. If knight c3 on the previous move, knight f5 hit my queen, so do it this way. Okay, let's go g6. He countered for knight c3. Queen d5. There's also knight c3, which I probably didn't plan. I guess I didn't plan it, but it works. So I guess I'll go queen f6. Bishop f8's a threat, trapping the queen. Bishop e4, maybe just rook e4, I guess. It's probably pretty safe. So you can try to get bishop b2 in somehow, but I do have bishop f8. Knight f5 or something. I have queen b2 in any case. Knight f3, so let's see what he's got for this. I think this is losing, because if bishop b2, I can go bishop h6, bishop f6, knight f6. Oh, there's queen h4, I didn't see that. In any case, he has created quite a lot of weaknesses, and probably doesn't have a ton to show for it, so... Let's see. Okay, whatever. I guess I'm giving him the e5 square. His position should just be really bad, I guess. I don't know. He has a lot of weaknesses. You look at his pawns. On the other hand, my light square bishop isn't great. That gives up a pawn. I also had knight d2. I should have seen that. I'll still have it, I guess. I should win. Okay. Well, he took the knight, so I won't have knight d2. b5. And threatening the c pawn. So I actually might not win. Okay, rook c4 is a move I should have seen a lot quicker. Might not actually be good, but it might be, because if either rook goes to e1, I can play d4. And rook fe1, I also have bishop f4. So this defends the pawn, and c7. Rook c4 defends c7, also attacks e2. Now I'm also attacking e4. You can see that there's some downside to what he did on the queen side. Like, I get to take this pawn, and yeah. Threatening bishop c4 now. Okay, get the win, that's good. Get 13 trophies there. Okay, next game, 21-46. So I actually gain a point if I win this, so let's try to win. What do I do here? So I just play d5, we'll see how it goes. Just build a big center. Yes, bishop e2, bishop d3, why am I even playing bishop e2? Takes, probably, knight d2, I guess I can put my bishop on. Okay, I can play this and maybe menace some e5 ideas at some point. Obviously I want to play e4 at some point and get the c4 square for the knight. I guess I'll do that now. Have to defend e4 first. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Okay. I get b3 opened up the bishop for knight e4. That still might be an option. He's probably thinking about it right now. So I can take this and take d6, but really, really bad what I'm doing here. You can take that and go bishop d4. Oh, he's f5 now too. So just like screw it. He's actually missing a lot of these things, which is beneficial for me. He's seeing enough of it to have a good position here. He's also hitting f4 now. really play this badly. Really badly. Okay, always get to put a pawn in a dark square. Put a rook on e1 next. So at least I try to salvage something. I have to take with the rook because if I take with the bishop, he has bishop c3. Okay, glad that he didn't take the. Because if he had taken that rook, I'd probably have like no winning chances. Now I get rook e6, or maybe not no winning chances, but it goes down. Like, it's not very good for winning chances from my side. If he had taken that, okay. Let's go queen e2. So I've got a good pawn. Just anchored this way. I mean, I could have also tried. Luckily, I have this move. I didn't even see it in advance. At least it's not threatening anything as far as I can see. Fortunately, the range of vision I have seems to be quite narrow. Let's go king f3. Try to make something go on the king side. Actually, his a5 pawn could be captured at some point. Let's see this just clarify the situation here. Which he doesn't want to do. Let's force him to. He did just allow d5, which is really poor. Hopefully he won't see it, but he does. Yeah, I could lose this game because of what I did there. With f5 and stuff. Like g4 and that stuff. I should have gone for his a5 pawn if I had seen the plan, which I hadn't, which is the problem. One of the problems. Main problem is I'm just playing badly. Please don't lose this. Almost certainly gonna lose. This guy doesn't seem to be like a bad opponent. I mean, he's not great, but like. He knows the technique well enough. Okay. Playing very badly, but. see what time it is. 6:21. I like queenside castles, but I guess it's okay. I could go like bishop b5 or something. Which I guess is kind of an idea here. I usually take with the queen, they're taking with the pawn, would have also been possible. They're really delaying castling. He can probably afford that. So bishop c4. I guess I could have played c4 also, but maybe it wouldn't have changed all that much. Just go h3, I don't know. Maybe now c4. Yeah, I mean, these arena guys, like, these guys can be difficult. But it helps with the trophies, so. And the trophies lead to advancing through the leagues, which is what we want. Okay, well, at least now I get c4 and d5 going. So that's a plus. There. Now let's just start doubling on the e file, I guess, so we can always move his knight. If we move this c rook, I can take c7, that's good. Move his e rook, I can take his knight, that's also good. Move his knight to g6, I can't take anything for free. Oops. Alright, that's good. Maybe he'll resign. He also might not resign, but maybe he will. Hitting c7 now, the knight's rook on the 7th rank. Alright. I might just finish this arena and then end the stream. I guess the arena ends at like 7:30 or something. And then I might eat and then, okay. This guy drew with me previously and he obviously wants to draw again. Or not. Oh, he didn't play knight f6, so it's actually interesting. Okay. I was thinking I should have played h3 there to try to get back into my normal setup, but he actually played h5, so bishop b2 actually kind of helped. There. I'm going to try castling kingside, I don't know. I guess I can go f5. Bishop g5 may be coming. Okay, so now I should get great control of the d5 square. I mean, not necessarily just yet, but coming maybe. If I can get both of those knights and trade off my dark square bishop, be nice strategically. Let's try to do that. So strategically, this is nice. If I can get my knight to a good square, then I should be doing pretty well. Let's move the king away. And go. Well, let's move this rook up. Maybe knight a5, rook b3. Should have a nice position here. He goes rook c8. I mean, yes. And c3 will be natural. But that blocks the rook from getting to b3. Let's go rook c3. Queen there. Go over. It's knight a5 coming, I guess. Goes there. I guess is in line with what he did previously. I'm trying to attack c2. Okay, I'll just move the pawn up. I think the pieces are in decent squares. Sort of, at least. Let's maybe try to trade the queens off. This queen was getting kind of active, I guess. Anyway, simpler this way. You want to try to get a knight to like somewhere like d5. Currently my rook's occupying that square, but doesn't mean I can't get the knight there. Bishop g5 might be a nice move for him, but he has to see it. He does. So he actually like, yeah. I mean, if he drew with me earlier, I guess that means he's a decent player. But maybe try to get the knight to b4 or something. Well, let's move the rook back. Knight e3 is a threat. So he might go bishop f4. Oh, he didn't see it. Yay. Okay, so now I can try to get the knight to d5, which is good. I guess he's thinking he might try to get a back rank checkmate with the bishop on g3. But there isn't really a great way for his rook to get to the back rank. I also could have just taken on d6. That might have helped him with the open file to get a back rank checkmate, but probably not enough to be justified to not take that pawn. So I can still try to take it now, with a6 also being weak now. That's a fork, which is nice. Alright, get the win, get 12 trophies, that's good. So I lost to this guy earlier, so let's try to beat him. He likes these, I guess he likes these openings where like, he's sort of getting some kind of Benoni-ish structure or something like that. Where I get the pawns on like e5 and d4, e4 and d5, and like, you know, he's just, yeah. Let's play h6 after bishop f5. I can play bishop h7 in case of knight h4. If I didn't see c5, I should have paid more attention. Now it takes knight d5, so this probably isn't too bad. Though he does have b5. Knight c b4, queen c4. Maybe rook a2. Maybe just, I mean, okay, there's rook b4 threatened there, obviously. I'll just try on it. Might not really work, but I can go. No, I can't go rook a3. Stop being an idiot. Knight a2 is possible. Yeah, I guess knight a2 is something. Like knight d c3 and knight e2, I take c1, and it's like, yeah, knights get kind of interesting there. I guess he sees knight d c3, so he's not taking on e5 immediately. I can also take d4, which I didn't see. Then I can take d4 and play knight c3 after his bishop takes on d5. Does that, which I don't think really helps, because I can still take this. Oh no, because now his queen defends on e2, which I guess was his point, but at least I can try to take c5, and then I have bishop a3 coming with taking on c1. Probably want to take on c1 before I take c5, I guess. Although I do have knight b4, so I guess I don't need to do that. Okay, so at least I might win some material here. Good that my rook on a4 is defending, otherwise he would have rook a1. So I guess the tactics kind of work out for me here. Obviously this wasn't like a one-sided game or anything, and this guy's pretty good for his rating, or I'm just playing really badly, or probably both maybe. Anyway. Let's take this, he can take. Queen g5, there's f4. So I guess, there's rook a2. Or I could just play queen a8 and rook a1. I could play rook e8. I'll just queen a8, rook a1. Bishop f1, I can go d3, queen e3. On a2 and queen e5. That's of course after trading rooks on a1. I can also go knight d1, then he might defend his knight. So this way I get to trade knights. I'm up in exchange. Try to invade on d2 or something like that. Maybe rook d4. Queen there. Let's go rook d4. Bishop d3, queen d6. f3, I can go queen d6 anyway. Now I'm threatening rook d2. King h1, there's also rook d1 possible. Check. Guess I can go rook f2. Yeah, bishop c4. So I can go queen d7 and after g4 maybe something. I can also go queen d2. Which is probably a good way to go. After bishop f7, I guess I can go king h8. Threatening rook h2, queen g5 mate. So he goes f4. Well, that's an interesting way to defend, I guess. Yeah, let's just trade queens. Not b6, which would make my pawns more immobile. Instead, we can try to get a passed pawn. c5, and rook b6, and c5 next. Go g6, maybe. Okay, e6 might have been more something to be afraid of there, so now I can take this and just go king f8, king e7. Be simple about this. Always sort of simple, but okay, well now I get this pawn. Check, take. The split pawn should win. Alright. Next game, so I'm getting some points, getting some trophies. Really, the trophies are an important part. Okay, let's go. Let's try to beat him quickly. He's only 1491. Okay, get this trick in. D5. Okay, the best way there was bishop d3, not bishop d5. And go bishop g4 and get knight d4, which is good. There's knight ed2. I might just castle. Because there I could take that, or I could wait. I think I'm gonna wait and try to get the faster win, as opposed to trading queens and trying to win the endgame. So now I get bishop h3, which wins an exchange, but he didn't see this idea, so now I win quickly, unless he uses up his time. Which he doesn't, so I get the win, and 13 trophies. So maybe I can try to break 500 trophies before this arena ends, and I'll probably stream the rest of the arena. Okay, 1793. Ah, shoot, didn't pre-move that. I thought it felt like he was at least doing some pre-moving. Also, why am I going for tricks like that against 1793? Oh, I should be able to win anyway, but I don't need to go for tricks like that against someone so low rated compared to me. And it's like there's a pre-move trick. It's like if he pre-moved knight f6, I go ef6. And he didn't auto-resign either. I mean, I could play queen a4, I guess. Just castle. Just try to be developing and stuff. E6. Let's go rook d1. Bishop c5, maybe b4. Bishop b6. I mean, I do have c4 here. Probably doesn't work out great, so let's go bishop b2, put some more pressure on d4. I guess b4 took my queen off d4. Let's go c4. Queen e4, let's develop the knight. A b5 bishop is immune because the a rook would hang. So play c5 and knight c4. A rook also hangs with checks, so we can like take b5 and take c4 at the moment. That could become an idea later. Let's just give check and take and just attack stuff. I can take this. Hitting f5 and c6. At least I'll have to think about this. Because otherwise the position was looking very bad. Very bad. I mean, yeah, the pre-move trick is It's not like, oh, there's not much risk. Like, you do get a pretty bad position if they don't fall for it. I mean, 3-0 blitz, you can still get something out of it. I guess he's going to go queen d6 after bishop c6. Yeah, the arena guys are good. I guess going to go rook ac1 there. He does it here. So I get to go knight d4 if I want. And I could go rook ac1. You have two castles. Guess there's knight e7. Just go knight d4. Bishop e5, knight b5. Some knight c7 stuff in the mix, perhaps. Yeah, so he doesn't play with queen d7, which will allow knight c7. Now I have to play rook d5 if I want knight c7, then I can just go king d7. Yeah. Knight d6, king e7. Rook d5, ed, rook e1, just king f8 or something. Yeah. Alright, just do this thing. King e7. Probably have to do queen c6, pawn takes, and knight moves. Then he gets to take might be b4 pawn. So I guess I have to try for knight e5 after that. Here's c5. Maybe I can try to take the b file because knight c6 or rook b8. So you can go rook c8. Yeah, I basically have no chance of him to flag. I guess, yeah, I mean, rook c8, I guess I have rook b7. If he blocks on c7, rook d7 might come. So I guess maybe I have some chances besides the flag. But, yeah, flag is definitely... It's nice that there's no increment here. He's going close to a minute now. Under a minute. Let's see your plan. Thought for a long time, but maybe he doesn't have a great plan here. Let's just take this rook c7, I guess. But hopefully he doesn't have enough time to make it. I don't know how fast or slow he might be, but at least I have a big time advantage. Okay, just check there because if rook f7 there was king e5 and the knight didn't have a great square. Yeah, I don't think he should make this given the speed at which he's playing at least. Even though he has a fine position. check. Blundered. Now we might actually make it. Better not take this too lightly. Alright. Got the win on time. It's still a win. Might also have some chances to win this arena. Alright, 1292. Let's try to win this quickly. I'd like to get to 500 trophies by the end of this. Threatening maybe b4. If he goes d6, I have b4. Logical move, the human move is just to play a5. I mean, that's the logical response. But sometimes you might think I'm not doing anything with a4. Yeah, he fell for it. People have fallen for this before, to just fall for the a4, b4, and lose a piece this way. Actually, d5 was a creative reply. But luckily I'm still hitting the knight and the bishop, so I still win a piece for maybe some amount of pawns, but hopefully this is still good. He's definitely trying to do what he can to mix it up, it seems. Which is a good try. Counterattack, try to make try to do what you can, come up with something. So it shows something good on his part that he was trying to do that. Though he probably should have just succumbed to the reality and just taken the 2 pawns for the piece, like knight takes b4 or something like that after b4. Just from an objective standpoint, to try to minimize the losses, because now he's also down a pawn, and I've got a good pawn center. So I can just try to make my king safe with like h3, king h2, and I can just try to develop or something like that. Maybe rook d. Okay, that's a knight. Okay. Good, so maybe we can get to 500 trophies. I mean, I'm also doing well in the standings for the arena, so that's good. Okay. Yeah, this guy I think was the guy who I felt like played worse than some of the people lower rated than him. Still not necessarily bad for his rating, but just other people were doing quite well for their ratings, at least, or just maybe just playing badly or something like that. I was trying like some kind of, okay, I don't think f6 is the way to go, but yeah, I'm not gonna like risk it. h4, g4. He did this in the other game too. Like, he really loosened himself on one side of the board. And that's probably a big weakness of his, is that he likes to push those pawns up. It creates weaknesses. I can probably just castle short here and just play f3 or something. And he's created numerous weaknesses on the king's side. Like just with h5 particularly, I guess. So maybe I'll go here. Oh shoot, no, it's f5, f4. Here he doesn't do it. And it looks like he's also trying to play b5. Like, he's trying to expand everywhere and just creating like lots of weaknesses. Maybe he's not going to go b5, but it seemed to be maybe his style. So go back. Yep. Let's try his trade light squared bishops. Now we can try to hit h5. d6 is a huge weakness here as well. There. So I'm playing knight a4. Which might be a bad move actually, but he does that. Let's take this and go queen b6. Ooh, pawn takes, so he doesn't even attack my queen. He does solve that weakness though, at least to an extent, on h5. Maybe I can go h5. Try for bishop h4. And try for knight g5, knight e6. Not just try for it, I am getting that in. At least knight g5 I get in, and knight e6 I'm getting in too. It should be very good, because I'm getting the knight to e6. Knight on a4 seems misplaced. The idea was to try to get it to b6, but it was probably pretty short-sighted there. I mean, it's not even that great to get it to b6. It's just not a great idea to try from knight a4, and you should have brought it somewhere closer to the center and later on the king's side. Now I get this, but I can try to make this knight useful with knight b6. Try to go to c4. He's threatening rook e6 there, so I should take that. Come back to c4. I'm hitting b6 and just plunder d5, which is also very poor. At least I can play b3 and threaten rook d1. He doesn't see that d5 was hanging. He is attacking my knight, so I should defend it. Now I can try to trade queens with queen b6 and takes. It does have knight f5. Now I can play bishop g5 or something. a3 is also a possibility at some point. Okay, let's come back to c4, hitting d6, hitting a5. Just take a pawn, I guess. I mean, he has knight e3. Probably just go a3, try to activate this rook. e4, reasonable. Let's just go rook e2 and take. Bishop d4, I'm really playing with fire here. I guess I have rook f4, but he got a rook to the h file and checkmated me. I mean, I can go h6 or something. Maybe. And rook e4, you can try to like do something with his knight, but maybe. I don't know, try it. Oh, he has that too. You might have to try to flag him. Okay, let's start with taking the. Now this pawn is coming. Okay. So I can go here. D2 bishop takes. Let's go here. Good thing you don't have to check that knight. Okay, take the knight. Okay. I win. Okay, and I get 13 more trophies, and I've broken 450 trophies. Let's see if I can win this arena. And see if I can break 500 trophies. Castles. Normally knight d4 will be the move, I think, but now he doesn't. Let's just go back to normal theory. He's only 1693. Just castle. Don't need to go queen e7 and go for stuff with the king in the center. F6, I mean, I don't think this is how you're supposed to play this, because I'm getting quite a bit going in the center already. And b4 doesn't help his position, probably, unless he goes a4 and tries to trap my bishop, but it's hard for his knight to move now because of knight c3. So knight f6 will just attack the bishop, but maybe not do too much more. Queen f6 is probably much more harmonious. Putting some pressure on d4, perhaps. Just go a5. He has probably a lot of problems on the dark squares. Just take with the bishop. I'm hitting c3. I can get a rook to e8 coming maybe soon. c5 at some point. Let's just bring a rook to e8. Nice, just reasonable move. So I can go bishop c3. It's probably better than knight c. Oh no, bishop c3 is knight e4. So knight c3. He might have knight b3. Bishop b4 should be okay. C1. probably just go c5. Knight 4 b3. I guess I can go bishop b4 or something. Goes there. Knight b5, a b5, d4, bishop f2. So, oh, I can just take d4, knight e2. Yeah, not playing well for sure, but maybe it'll be good enough to win this arena and get to 500 trophies. Check. Just take this. If queen c1, I can go queen f4. And the knight should. I mean, this looks good anyway. Whatever. Yeah, so I can take this. Yeah, rook c1 was probably better, so that way he would still be attacking the a5 bishop, and this wouldn't come with tempo. Alright, so another 13 trophies. Moved up to third in the tournament standings. Past the Ariev guy, so that's good. Trying to win this tournament. 1207, try to win this one quickly. Grant. He has the Russian flag. Although Grant does not sound like the most Russian name, but okay. You can put whatever flag you want. I guess I could also be taking on e5, but well, not now. But okay, let's try for like knight e4 stuff. Actually, that's probably a very bad pre-move because knight d7, knight c3 is a decent chance. That's a reasonable move. But he would have queen d2 there. Yeah, I don't think it's fair that you should auto-resign. This, I mean, you're just for thinking. I mean, that's a very short amount of time that gave. He literally played rook c1 under the gun. I mean, obviously that's not a good move, and he probably knew. Like, it was just, he was under the gun. He was going to auto-resign. And, you know, I don't think that's very fair. I mean, you should be that limited in how much time you have to think. I mean, I get that you shouldn't be abandoning the game, but you really, like, he got what? He got 29.5 seconds to think. I mean, like, he only gets 30 seconds for a move. And that's probably too harsh. Check, and I have queen b5 coming. Okay, let's checkmate. So another 13 trophies. Now I'm second in the tournament. Got a 9-game winning streak going. Probably haven't been playing that well, but whatever. This guy likes to make weaknesses by pushing his pawns up. I guess that's kind of how we'll call him. I mean, not a very nice name, but it's not really all that untrue. See, when I push these pawns up, like, okay, I mean, I'm taking space in the center. Like, you're not gonna. I mean, yeah, maybe I'm sort of making some weaknesses, but it's not the same as what he's doing. When he goes like a3, b4, which he might very well do here, which he doesn't, actually. So I guess that's good on his part that he didn't do it there. Like e4, is that really like a good move? But it's not creating weaknesses at least, so he's doing better in that way. Let's go. I mean, FG, is it really worth it? Let's go knight G4. Maybe H3 knight F2. I don't know if that works. But I think it might. See what he does. He has to take with something because his queen's under attack. So knight C2, and the idea is just like rook F6 or something. And I could also play G5, which might be better. Rook F6 also quite decent. Okay, he just gives up the knight. Alright, get a win. Now I'm #1 in the tournament. I'm getting close to 500 trophies also. Can even make it to 550 trophies maybe. Okay, so got a regular dragon going here. Sicilian dragon, so I can do this G4 move. The idea is that if he goes D5, I can go G5. Now it's just like normal stuff, but I mean, the bishop D7 line isn't necessarily the greatest one for black, but okay. Go H5. And E5, there's some theory. It's like rook C3 and stuff. Let's go knight B3. It's probably not best, but he's also only 1817 compared to my 2638. I think I started the tournament, I believe, at 2672. So I still outrate him by a significant amount. So now I've got the nice battery going on the H file, just got defense. Okay, so he does control the D5 square. Go G5 F4. Let's go knight D4 first, and then if bishop A2, like G5 F4. Just trying to create some defense against something like this, but like to fortify that knight on H5, I suppose. But I can still take it. I can also go rook takes and knight F5. This is maybe the best way. Though he did have bishop C4 there. And if his bishop was on C4 and his queen was on C7, he could move his E pawn to try to defend against the mate on G7. And now there's not really a great way to defend the mate against the mate on G7. I get another win, break the 500 number for number of trophies. Still in first in the arena, so that's good. Let's just try to get more trophies. Nothing really super special about 500 is there. Okay, let's play this line with check. So the idea is that the bishop on D7 is not great for his position, which he understands. So he plays bishop F5, and now I get to try to keep the pawn with C4. Now I can play D4, which gives me a nice center also. And just develop my pieces, I guess. Yeah, knight F3 is probably reasonable. You can go E6, which, or C6, whatever, but I've got a nice center going already. Bishop E6, I can go D5. Okay, bishop B4 probably shouldn't concern me too much. I could have played knight C3, I guess. I guess he has knight guards a4 anyway, so I can't go queen a4 here. However, I can take this guy. King takes, I can go check here. Really, I should have quite a good position. I can just castle next move. And should be winning. I have 2 extra pawns. This king is not very safe. Or it's not the safest king, at least. Can't castle. His rook on h8. Can't castle to get it in the game either. So I guess I can just go. Maybe just bishop e3 or something. Yeah, just bishop e3 and we've got knight c3 coming. Finished development. Queen b3. Yeah, I can just take this because I already have 2 extra pawns anyway. So let's play a3 now. His bishop's kind of running out of squares. And after bishop d6, c5, he does have bishop takes c5, but it's still obviously I'm still up 2 pawns, and his king is not the greatest. And they can play knight c3, bishop d3, whatever, bishop g4. It shouldn't be too bad. Okay, bishop c5 is actually a creative move. Just go knight c3 and be simple about it. I guess you can try the queen f6 and put pressure on d4. I can just play d5 and actually taking with the f pawn is quite good given his king queen alignment there. Because now I should just be winning with e4 coming. Yeah, I mean, bishop d3 maybe also. He is g6, bishop d3, but or if bishop g4, e4 just wins the piece basically. I mean, you can get a pawn maybe with like rook f7 or g6. Okay, so another win, that's good. Get some more trophies, extend the lead, or maybe not extend the lead, but keep the lead at the very least. Okay, I think I lost this guy earlier, so and I lost him in a very unfortunate way, I guess. Or not unfortunate, but just in a very bad way because I was winning the game. I believe he was the one where I gave the piece for 3 pawns, and the Sicilian had a very nice position going, and I could have just continue pushing the pawns. Instead, I tried to get even more, and it backfired. Lesson there is yeah, when you have something, just take what you have. If you know that it should be winning, it should be good, just take it. I mean, don't do something risky to try to get a bit more or something. But it's hard to actually implement that lesson. I mean, as a human, you want to do something more, but minimizing risk is you shouldn't take too much risk either. So continue to just bring the bishop back to b6, I guess. Well, if he had done bishop f6, queen f6, rook b7, bishop b6, would have put his rook in an awkward place on b7. Now I can control d4 with c5, and I just hung a pawn on b6. It's not good. Considering playing someone who beat me earlier, but at least I can try to get knight d5, but yeah. Yeah, okay. e5, I should play knight b6 instead of queen e2. But e d5 is probably what he'll do. Queen e2, most likely trade queens, maybe rook b7, rook c2. Maybe like d6, rook eb1. Wow, he really allows the knight to come to c3. Let's attack the rook. Get the pawn on a2. And for a3, I can go b5 or something. He takes. I can still take this guy. Just come back. Rook a8 coming. b1. And just make left with h6 or something. Yeah. And bring this rook here, maybe try b5 or something. And rook a2 is an idea also. There's a 4. And just play b5. If f5, I can play bishop a2. And now I can just go b4. Looks like probably pretty decent position. And the rook to a2. Queen there. Maybe double rooks. Maybe try to get the rook to a1 at some point. Queen d6, maybe queen d4 coming. f6 is also an idea. Okay, well, let's go queen d4, try for rook a1. Okay, well, I can go queen a1. Queen c3 was also probably reasonable. Queen e3 was also reasonable, but this is fine too. But yeah, queen f6 probably better move. Maybe, but okay. Oh, it's winning. I mean, I have the dark square control in addition to the extra exchange for pawn. Maybe dark square control, I mean, maybe not control per se. I'm also hitting c2, which I should have seen earlier. So, okay, bishop f1. I can just go rook a1 and bishop a4 coming to trap the rook. And I'm hitting the bishop, so. Yeah. Should be good. Another win, that's good. Some more trophies. So will I break 550 trophies? We shall see. I stay in the lead in the tournament, which is good. Hunters of Apollo. Okay, I actually don't like that. I mean, besides the fact that I'm playing in a tournament, let me decline that because that's an untitled account, so I actually think that might be an impersonator. Not an impersonator, but like some kind of a troll, like something weird with the Huntresses of Artemis. Now White Ghost, like the avatar and the username. It's an untitled account, so it's. I mean, even if it was titled, like, I mean, I'm on the mouse, so playing 30 seconds would be very bad. But it looks a little weird. It looks a bit weird, to put it mildly, I guess. Oop. Oh, he's not even going to take the bishop. Alright. Good. So now there's a decent chance they'll break 550 trophies. Okay, so playing in English here. Let's go d6 and castle next move. Okay, e4. Okay, well he's played h3, so I won't be able to play bishop g4 to get that advantage, but it's actually kind of like, shoot, you're gonna make me auto resign too. I do not like that. Like, you can't think for like, I mean, come on, like, you can't think for more than 30 seconds in the opening. I mean, you're not always gonna know the opening. It's a ridiculous rule. You can't think for more than 30 seconds in the opening. I mean, you can get into trouble in the opening. And, I mean, I guess it applies to both players, so I guess it's fair, but it's ridiculous. You should be allowed to think in the opening, too. Like, I get that, like, okay, if you think for, like, 2.5 minutes on a single move in a 5-minute game, I get that, that's a bit much, though it should still be allowed, but I get that there's an idea that you don't want people to just be abandoning games. However, 30 seconds in the opening in a 5-minute game should not be considered too much, probably. It shouldn't, I mean, even if it's the opening, you can still get your 2.5 minutes, probably, at least. I mean, yeah. Okay, well, I have some good stuff going on. The light squares here. Bishop takes on f5 coming. I mean, bishop b7 is there, but I can just play rook b8. I've got an initiative here. b7 pawn might not be a huge deal, though he does have bishop d5 check also. But still, I've got some good stuff going on. The f3 square in particular. Bishop g4 at some point, maybe. After bishop takes f5. Though he doesn't allow bishop takes f5, he plays g4. So, see, let's just... Yeah, both knights want d4, so let's give that to one of them and not have the other one just be wanting the same square. I guess he can play bishop c6, but he doesn't. Okay. Bishop c6 there, actually, there might have been just knight d4 back, but knight f4, he'll be giving me some choices, so... Okay. So I guess he's going to try for some h-file stuff. I should probably try to trade bishops. Okay, so I should probably just take this. And gh6, I can go queen f6. And it should be okay, reasonably. I've got an extra piece now. I'm going to go bishop c6 and takes, hoping for knight f3 check at some point. Just go queen f6, be safe. And I'll probably just take this. King should be okay, considering I have an extra piece, though granted he has a couple pawns. Just take that. Knight f3 check coming. Okay, give a check. If f3, I have queen g2 check. King d3, I have queen f3. King e3, I have queen f4. Okay, so he gives up the pawn. I actually don't have to take it, though I can just go rook g8. And now he's having some problems with his rook. h1, with queen g2 check coming. Rook h2, I have queen g1 check. King e1, I can go queen takes e4 check even. So I hadn't initially realized when I said that he has problems with the rook on h1, but okay. Okay, so let's take this. Pre-move that. Don't think he'll be able, I mean, he shouldn't be able to run the clock out unless there's a lot of time left. I guess I can. Yeah, no, he doesn't have enough time to run the clock out. Just do a check. Okay, 1. Go here. Get the checkmate. So I should have over 550 trophies. Now I should have 555 trophies. Nice triple 5 there. Okay. This game probably won't count, but hey, you can still play. I get queen of 6, of course. Yeah, again, this auto resign. I mean, he should know the move here. Yeah, that's not the move. Again, he was probably rushed, though. So I do not like that rule. You have to play your move in 30 seconds. You know, people should get to think. You know, they're playing a 5-minute game. I mean, I get that in arena, especially, you know, the stallers can mess people up, but should not be at the expense of the playing experience. Like, I mean, or at the expense of being able to think. But I mean, probably 30 seconds. I'm just saying that that's a bit too harsh. Yeah, rook b2 was actually bishop b3, which I didn't necessarily see, but I guess it worked out. And I mean, I guess I want to develop the knight. I guess I should keep the pawns together-ish. Maybe I should take b2 now and just take. I can take another pawn. Go bishop g4, threaten rook e8 check. See how much time is left. 2, 1, 0. Rook e8 check was winning there. So I won the tournament. 15 straight wins at the end. So 18 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, which cost me quite a lot of rating points because I went down from 2672 to 2639. However, I got some trophies. I also got to win the tournament. So now I have 555 trophies, which is a big step up. I guess, so these 15 wins, how many trophies did they get me? So this one would have gotten me 11, and 12, and then 13 times 13 is 169. So 169 plus 23, I guess, would be 192. And then these 3 get me 11, 12, so that's 23. Plus 13 is 36, so 192 and 36 will give me to 228. And I guess before that I had a draw, so 231 or 232, I guess. These are 1 arena point you get from a draw also. So yeah, so 232 trophies for, I guess, a little under 2 hours of 5-minute chess. So the other day I got 122 trophies for about 45 minutes of 3-0. So 3-0 maybe gets me like 150 trophies in an hour, whereas 5-0 might get me. Let's say it was. Maybe if I had played the whole 2 hours, maybe it would have been 250 or so. I don't know. If I get another 13 or something, let's say it will be around 250. Maybe if I played better, so maybe 125 in an hour for 5-0 and 150 in an hour for 3-0. So 3-0. I mean, you would expect there would be more of a margin than that, but I guess I did win a lot of games in this arena. But I also won a lot of games in the other one, though I did lose 2 in that one as well. Though in that one I didn't have the draw. I won all the other games, I assume. Maybe at least. So, in my division, number 4, I need to be in the top 15, so I'm clearly well above that. This guy is 219, so clearly well above him. 555. Don't need to win the division to advance. If I needed to, then obviously I'll play a lot more of these arenas and try to get a lot more trophies, even though it is at the expense of my rating. But, at the end of the thing is, like, okay, the rating, I can always get it back later. I can always, just play more later, and my rating should gravitate towards where it should be, or just by playing the regular games against opponents who are, closer to my rating than these guys were. And so, at the end, my rating should be fine in the long run. So, but in the short run, what I won't have in the long run is the leagues. The leagues only last for a certain amount of time, and it's a contest, and so I can sacrifice the rating, which I can get back later. Really, not much cost there. Whereas, the cost of not playing the trophy, the cost of not playing the arenas, that cost in trophies and the potential cost in the leagues is quite a bit more significant. It's actually a real cost. And I mean, there are monetary prizes at the end of the leagues if you can get there fast enough. If you do well enough and keep advancing every single week. Anyway, okay, so that was the long stream. So I'm going to log out and probably end the stream now. So bye-bye. Bye-bye.